The Pastor's Benevolence Fund is a fund that is created by the giving of the congregation.
And we use it to discreetly help people in need.
People who come here are in all sorts of situations. There are some who have gotten sick and who cannot work any longer. There are some who have just lost their job. There are some who are working but then have had a family member who's gotten sick and they have trouble with prescriptions or other medical care.
I've bought groceries, I've written checks for utilities, I've written mortgage payments for people in order to keep them from having to default on their loans.
The people that we are talking about are folks that we believe are in true need.
There was a lady who called, and she called because her husband refused. And she asked if she could come in to see me, and I, of course, welcomed her in. She told me this story about how he had first lost his job, and then she had lost her job as a clerk in a fast food kind of place, and that they had these children, and she knew that it was the worst thing in the world to ask for help, because that's what her parents had taught her. She'd grown up in this church, and the reason she called this church was because she knew that there were people who still loved her and would care for her when she could not care for herself.
You know, if this fund wasn't available, I've never run statistics on how many people we help in a year, but it is a substantial number of people who would not have power for a period of time. It would be a number of people who lose their apartment for a period of time. Certainly there would be people who go homeless because they get evicted in a time of emergency. There are people who would go without prescription medication. There would be all sorts of issues for the people that we do help that we wouldn't be able to address without this fund.
Everybody is one step away from being in need of somebody else's care.
I don't see this fund as being my ministry. This fund is a ministry of the church.
The world is full of people who are in need, who look to the church to stand for Christ between them and abject poverty.
I take to heart when Jesus said that we are to care for the least of these. Those who are without clothes, those who are hungry, those who are in prisons. They're the ones that we are to be helping. And whenever we help those folks, we're helping Christ. And that is the underlying purpose of this fund.
It is our responsibility as Christian folk to help them. And so the folks at Coker have an opportunity to help the least, the last, and the lost. And I believe that it can be our joy to be able to help people in need.